Hi everyone. In this video, I wanted to talk about a concept that I came up with when I was talking to my father. So, I was talking to my father on the phone and he was telling me about how he had wanted my grandfather to write down some of his stories. So, my grandfather grew up in 1940s in Lebanon, and he came to the US back in the 1950s. And so I'm not going to get into his whole life story, but he has some very interesting stories and things that my dad wanted to record before, you know, before he can't anymore. He was telling me that he had been reminding my grandfather several times to write down these stories, write these down, and he was like expressing to me some frustration as to not being able to get my grandfather to write it down. And so that's when I said, well, what if you just, send him a document over email that he can type in? Or better yet, put a pen and paper in front of him. Or better yet, just get him to send you a recording of him telling a story. Or better yet, just get him to tell you the story and you record it for him. Oftentimes when we're with Grandpa, we can't even stop him from telling stories. He just keeps telling stories. That's just what he does. So I said, it shouldn't be that hard for you to get him to tell the story. And all you have to do is record it. Then at the end, I realized that making things a little bit easier for people makes it a lot more likely that they're going to do it. And then he said, oh, that's really good advice. So this was something that I realized just kind of out of the blue, reasoning through my head how my dad could get my grandfather to write something down for him. And I realized that I've encountered this a lot in my life too. At work, if I want help with something, asking somebody to do it, sometimes they'll do it quickly, but oftentimes they won't. Maybe they're really busy and they have a lot of other stuff to take care of. But if you kind of meet them halfway and you take as much of the load off their hands as possible, they're a lot more likely to do it. Now, I don't know exactly why. Maybe it's because they see it as easier, but it might also be because they feel like you're compromising and you're not just ordering them around to do different stuff. There are probably some areas that you can apply this to your life as well. Maybe you have a family member who doesn't clean up after themselves, or roommates who don't clean up after themselves. A quicker way to get them to clean up after themselves, rather than just saying, can you clean this up? Oh yeah, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. That's probably what they're going to say. But if instead you hand them the broom and the mop and be like, okay, clean up, I think they're going to be a lot more likely to do it quickly. Because you put it in their hand, it's already in their hand. It would take more effort for them to just put it back than it would to just sweep it up and get it done. Unless they have really busy lives, but that's a separate issue. Maybe you have coworkers that you depend on to get stuff done, and maybe there's things that they do that you can't do. For example, at my work, sometimes we need things painted, and I don't know how to paint, so we rely on the technicians to help us. And so when I ask the technicians if they can paint something, I try to make it as easy as possible. Provide instructions that are super clear, so it's super easy for them. You can even apply this to yourself. Make things easy for you. For example, it might be hard to get up in the morning, but if you already have all your clothes ready and everything is ready, you just need to put them on, it's a lot easier to get up and get out the door. You're a lot less likely to hit the snooze button if everything is laid out for you. You know what I mean? So this was just a piece of advice that I came up with talking to my dad and just thinking about it a little more. So I wanted to share it here. Let me know if you liked it in the comments, or let me know if you would like more content like this. All right, ciao.